put my phone on do not.
All right. So it looks like after a few technical difficulties and a setback that is minor, it looks like we are now ready. We are live. Yay! We are live. All right. And it's going to be a great, wonderful Saturday. I am so excited about this. I want to welcome all of the viewers who are already beginning to tune in. Welcome to Apostles Chat Corner, where we're live with relevant discussion, we're live with real conversations, and we are live with pure talk. All right. You can be sure to gain something from our sessions, our broadcasts that will empower you, encourage you, and just give you great knowledge and wisdom concerning all things. And so today, we're going to get right into it because we've had some technical difficulties, but I am excited about the special guest that I have today on the platform, none other than Mrs. Trekina Rajeanné Estell, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. All right. She is on, as you guys can see. I want you guys, I think we're good as far as the sound and everything, but I do want you guys to, if you're on, come on, just comment in the chat box or the comment section. Let me know that you guys can hear us clearly and that you all can see us. I think you can, but just do that for me if you will. Also, those of you who are tuned in, begin to let us know where you're watching from in the comment section so that I can shout you out. All right, at this time, without no further ado, we have a fashion entrepreneur that is on with us today on the broadcast, and she has a very busy schedule, but I do thank God that she was able to accept the invitation to come on and be with us this Saturday afternoon. And so with no further ado, we know that we have today, again, the honorable, the gifted, the talented, the creative, the fashionista, Trekina Rajeanné Estell. And so we know that she's a modern day fashion entrepreneur. She is a fashionista. She is a wife. She's a mother. And so I want to yield the platform at this time to Mrs. Trekina Rajeanné Estell. I love her name. And I want to allow her just to give us just a little bit about herself in detail. No one can better introduce ourselves than us, right? We know everything about ourselves. So I'm going to yield right now. Trekina, the platform is yours.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me first. I am excited and nervous all at the same time. So I'm thankful. I have had a mother that since I was in high school and I was like, I want to be in fashion, she 100% encouraged me. So I have been able to jump into it. And I've been blessed to spend my entire career in the fashion industry. So I grew up in Goodman, Mississippi. I went to McAdams High School. So I am a true country Mississippi girl at heart. So went to Mississippi State for fashion design. Was the design assistant for some of the professors, which really showed me that I loved teaching. That led me to the East Coast, working for a company where I taught fashion design, machine sewing. So I traveled a lot for them. One of my favorite places was that I lived in DC for them. So I worked at the school, Sitwell Friends. So it's the school where most of the presidents send their kids to. Wow. So I was able to teach there, really enjoyed it. Got a lot of different opportunities from that. Was able to go to a lot of different fashion shows, meet a lot of different stylists, work with one of the winners of Project Runway. I'll be honest, it's always hard saying it out loud because my career has been a lot of fun and it's been a whole lot of things.
Yes.
But I'm gonna try to be like semi-detailed.
Okay, please.
My great grandmother, who I consider like another mom,
Yes.
she got sick. I came home to visit, and I thought I was going back. Some type of way, God had different plans, so I ended up getting a job while I was at home visiting.
Wow.
Wasn't looking for the job, and in my mind, I thought it was optional. So I mean, and mama was like, okay, so when you and your mama going to get your stuff? So apparently that meant I was moving back to Mississippi. One of the best decisions ever, though. I'm so blessed that it happened that way. So then I was able to work at a retail store and do like visual merchandising. And while I was working there, I actually got a chance to meet the celebrity stylist, Jason Bolin,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
doing visual merchandising with him and working on different fashion shows and stuff with him that he was hosting and creating different projects for him as things came up. It was a lot of fun. Like, I really enjoyed it. Now, I hated the retail world. I
Mhm.
realized very quickly, because they had me as like an area manager in the contemporary area.
Okay.
I didn't like selling to people. It wasn't for me. But my visuals were always on point. So from there led me to working with Davis Bridal. Um, they recruited me to be their alterations manager,
Hmm.
and it just kept getting better. That
Wow.
was amazing.
Wow.
I grew in that role, and they promoted me to their district alteration training manager, which basically meant I was over the stores in Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, Texas, and eventually I ended up being over there UK stores. Um,
Yes.
I actually got a chance to like go to the UK. All the I think at that time they had 5 different stores there. They had one in London, Glasgow, Scotland, and 2 more in there. So just going to audit their rooms, which was an amazing experience because their craftsmanship, the way that they did things. So that
Hmm.
was a very informative trip. Got a chance to meet a
Wow.
lot of different people. Ended up leaving Davis Bridal to move to Georgia because my husband got a job here. And more goodness happened. Ended up working at a luxury men's store, which just gave me a totally different set of skill sets to then start working in like the film industry. So I've been able to work on shows like Yellowstone,
Mm.
Naomi,
Wow.
and Gotham Knights. So
Mm.
yeah, so now this year I am officially a full-time entrepreneur. After having baby, decided to stay at home with her for a little while. That was unexpected because I thought I was going right to work. So
Yes.
I did more of like the freelancing thing. So like I was still working on some of them shows at the time, but I didn't go back to I guess like full-time job. So I
Hmm.
kind of worked it through my business.
Hmm.
So this year is like the first start of 100% being an entrepreneur. So that's a little bit about me.
Wow. Well, look, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So much knowledge, a plethora of knowledge about fashion, designing, alterations, all of it. You basically you've done it all. You're qualified to be where you are sitting today. The experience is under your belt. You've gained it. You went through the ranks, promotion after promotion, elevation after elevation, experience from after experience. You are qualified to even just be on the platform today, to even just share. And we're so glad to have you today. And one fun fact that I do know about you is that you created your own wedding dress, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you actually designed, you sketched it out. I don't know, you drew it out,
Yeah.
you
I,
made it.
I sketched it out. I sourced the fabric. Literally it was hand beading and crystals all over the front. Now mind you, during this time I was a full-time alterations manager and training manager at Davis Bridal with all of these stores that I just listed. So another fun fact, your favorite Mama Tess
Yeah.
was side-eyeing me when I said I wanted to make my own dress. She's like, how are you going to have time for that? So I
You know,
ended up buying
I remember.
dresses for Davis Bridal as a backup dress
I remember.
in case it didn't work because I needed her to feel better and not stress
Yeah.
out more.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I remember it. I was there with Mother Tess at Homeschool Community College at the time. I was there going to school. And I remember the time when she says, "Oh, well, my daughter is getting married." And I was like, "Oh, wow, what a wonderful, a moment, and an experience that is about to come." And I remember her just talking about the planning and everything and how Kina wants to do so much. She wants to do this. She wants to do that. But I remember that day exactly. She was in the office frantic about that dress. She's like, Kina wants to design her own dress. Like, Mother just said, what? When would she have time? Like, so, yeah. But that is, and I think that's just an awesome thing, to know about you. That you actually designed and created. You sketched out your own wedding dress. You made it for your big day. Like a lot of brides can't say that they, have done something of that magnitude. And so I just wanted, to share that with the bride.
I did have a busy schedule, so I did have like help. So I will never forget I had Peyton and Miss Alberta. They worked for me at Davis Bridal. So Peyton was like, okay, show me your schedule, what you want. Like, I'll help you cut out the pattern that you want. Okay. I'm like, I'm at home. Literally, I have pictures of me like sitting at home, like in front of the TV, spending time with my future husband, like doing my hand beading. And then I would like hand the piece over to her. And she'd be like, okay, like I'll sew this part. So between the three of us, like switching the pieces off, it was so much fun though. When I look at that dress, like I just have the memories of like the three of us laughing and working on that dress, and both of them being like, look, we'll help some with the construction, but we don't know what you're doing with this all this beading and all these crystals.
Wow. I tell you. Well, yeah, so I just wanted to illuminate that. I thought that was just a special thing there. Because, again, many brides can't say that they designed and created and made their own dress. So, absolutely. So, it's an honor to have you on. Thank you again for accepting the invitation. We know that you are a busy woman, and we're going to just move right along in our broadcast today. Viewers, again, as you're coming in, let us know where you're watching us from, all right, and who you are so we can kind of shout you out as well. All right, so here we go. All right, the first thing on our agenda to talk about today is fashion entrepreneurship. Let's talk about fashion entrepreneurship. And the first thing where I want to begin with this is here. Now, I want to begin. We thank God for Mother Tess. She's on. By the way, she's in the comment sections. She's in Memphis. So thank you, Mother Tess, for being on. We love you. So I want to begin here at the foundation. Let's talk about the foundation of Trekina Rajeanné Estell. Or before becoming Mrs. Estell, you were Miller. Mrs. Trekina Rajeanné, Miller. Uh, Now, and as we talk about the foundation, I know that where you are today is because of a foundation, maybe a strong foundation, a fearing of God, that caused Trekina to know who she is and who she was, and even maybe who she was to become, or what she could do and what she could become. So let's talk about your foundation. We know, again, that you are from originally Mississippi. You were born and raised in Mississippi. And I am sure that majority of your success was derived again from a strong upbringing as a child. So I want you to talk about that. I don't know, what was the fear of God placing you by perhaps your parents or family members? Just talk about your foundation. How did Trekina Rajeanné Estell become who she is today?
I spent
Talk
my
about this.
entire life in church. Growing up, like our house was right there. Like you could walk to the church, and just about every Sunday we walked to the church. I was in God's church. It was always just church. So it's funny because as a kid, I would be so frustrated and know it that I constantly had to be in church. But whoo, thank you, God, because apparently some stuff was like really seeping in, and
Yes,
that faith.
yes,
I would say the strongest thing that comes from our religion is not necessarily being in the church with the churchy people at times, but it was like some of the members, like my mom, for example.
mm-hmm.
She lived her life as this is who I am, this is how I am, and she
Yeah,
showed me what God was. So I think that was the best part about for me about the church that I grew up
it
in
definitely
is
is.
I saw people who were human, but
Mm-hmm.
you could see that God really lived in them outside of the word. Like my pastor, Michael Williams, when I say if anybody in that community calls on him and needs him,
He's
he's
there.
there. No
Yeah,
questions asked. It's not a, oh, well, I'll come if you pay me this amount. Like, that's God.
yes,
So,
yes,
and even the pastor before that, like Pastor Kemp, like as I was getting older to really understand the word, like just him teaching things like, be careful the things that come out of your mouth. My ain't saying that's a minister. Seeing her boldness of I've made so many mistakes in life. I'm so
yes,
far from perfect, but I will
yes,
stand up here in front on this pulpit. All
yes.
these people that say that a woman should not even be in the pulpit, and I'm going
Come
to tell
on.
you all the things that I did, and I'm going
Yeah,
to tell you how it hurt my life, and I'm going to tell you how God saved me and how
yeah.
God can see you through any and everything. So those are the lessons that get me through the hard times now when I start questioning things. So I'm really thankful for that foundation and for that community that truly saw me, that truly believed in me, and
Yes.
just always encouraged me and always wanted to support me in any way that they could. It meant the world, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for them.
And it's good to recognize the importance of a foundation because it's at the foundation that you're able to build,
Mhm.
right? You know, greater, whether it's to another level or dimension or whatever. There has to be a foundation, and then we build from the foundation. And so it's just good that you have that upbringing of what it is to actually live an exuberant life, exemplifying God in His
Yeah.
true form, in His true power, in His true wisdom. What loving thy neighbor as thyself looks like, and I can attest to your mom. I know her personally, and I know your pastor personally, and I tell you, good, great, awesome, wonderful two individuals, people that really live the life, not just talking. Come on,
Yeah.
because it's a lot of talking today, all
Yeah.
right, in the church arena, but it's not enough living. All
Mhm.
right, we can talk the word, we can quote those scriptures all day long, but are we living them?
Yeah.
To the best of our ability with the help of Holy Ghost. So, man, I just want to really thank you for sharing that, because I know that, and even speaking for me and my success and where I am in life, it is because of the upbringing. It was because of my upbringing in the Lord's church, the Universal Church. I had the Word of God, at the forefront to let me know who I was and who I am and who I was to become and what I could be. And then I had certain people around that was actually living the life that I seen, God in them, and even looking at their success, knowing that it was because of the root being that of God, opening doors for him. And so in Deuteronomy chapter 8 in verse 18 declares, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he sware unto thy fathers as it is this day. And so we know that the plethora of wealth, the plethora of knowledge, we know that gift is given to us by God. And so to be an entrepreneur today, The honor and the glory goes to God, right?
Oh, yes.
That's your foundation.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to have you just share that you had the fear of God in you at a young age, right? That kind of developed Trekina, right?
Yeah.
Your character, come on, was defined by watching your mother, your pastor, not only just quote the scriptures and quote and teach the word, but actually live it. All right, and it's because of them and because of the word of God that you are where you are today. You're a successful entrepreneur, fashion entrepreneur in the state of Atlanta, Georgia, in the state of Atlanta, Georgia. And so, wow, it's just amazing. As it relates to fashion entrepreneurship, what would you say, what has been your most challenge as to becoming a fashion entrepreneurship? Because I know that talking to you firsthand and even inviting you onto the platform, you was just saying how that you did have some kind of what should I say, resentment? Not resentment. That's not the right word. Um, let's just say that you entered into the industry with a little weariness or a little worriedness because you knew that there were others who had more resources than you, because you felt your thing was that, well, you're just a small town country girl.
Yeah.
And you're looking at folks, have the, background from New York and these big major cities, Chicago, and they have, more resources, but you didn't have that many. But look at you today.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Ooh, favor. I always mess with my mom and say, "Well, she must have some real special prayers." Because if I'm being honest, literally, that's my answer. It's favor. Like God has literally always put me in the right places, in front of the right people, and allowed me to show up. And for whatever reason, He's allowed them to see me when it was time to see me. Because it was definitely things that He blocked. And when I say
Yes.
I'm devastated, so for example, senior year, you have to have an internship. So I wanted to get an internship with Target because it was a paid internship. So
Okay.
it was only a few of us Black in the major. And a lot of them, like their parents were like at a better place. So they could go to New York and work in New York. They didn't need a paid internship. Somebody would get them an apartment. It was no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I would have told my mom that's what I wanted, she would have made it happen for me. No doubts about it. But I was like, okay, but different strategy, like let me find a paid internship. I just knew I had that Target one just in the bag. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't really want it because it was retail, and I've always had more of a desire for the design creative side.
Right.
But,
Right.
it's for summer.
Mm-hmm.
All those skills are important. So, but God blocked it, and I did not get it. And I'll never forget, one of my professors announced on the bus for all of us, we were headed to Texas for a fashion exhibit. It was going to be a fashion show, that I got it. And I was like, I didn't get it. She was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to embarrass you. I'm like, no, it's okay. And when I say, once she found out that I did not have an internship and that she had said it, because like she genuinely believed in me. So, and she was always putting me on the spot. And to know me, I am such a shy introvert. And I am in a corner in a bubble with all of my sparklies on, but
Yeah.
nobody can see me. So she always really made me cringe, because I'm like, every time she looked at me, I'm like, please don't say anything out loud about me and make everybody look at me. And she knew that about me. But her
Yeah.
thing was always like, come out of it. Like, stop being like that. But on that trip afterwards, her and the other professor was like, okay, well, let's look around these other booths. Let's see what you're interested in. I ended up with the perfect internship on that trip. It was a company called the Handwork Studio, and they were located in Narberth, Pennsylvania. It was amazing. It
Wow.
was perfect for me. It was exactly what I needed, and it was favor. Like God blocked that job to give me what I really needed, and I was surrounded by people that were like me. And it was really the first time that I had really been around people
Mm-hmm.
had the same true interest as me in like different
Yes.
experiences. So everybody sewed. They knitted, they crocheted, they dyed fabrics, you name it, embroidery. They did all of it. And then they had different people that specialized in different things. So I was able to really talk to those people and like sit there and watch and just learn even more. So for me, God has always given me that favor and put me in those places
Mm.
where I end up like the job just casually sends me to New York and I just get to go hang out at Move Fabric and teach students and walk around the fabric store and, meet celebrity stylists and designers and
Wow.
yeah.
So the fact that you can say that the favor of God has literally been upon you and has gone before you is just awesome and great in itself. To
Yes.
God be the glory for where He has you today, and for His hand being on your life, and it's just a great thing to even attest, be able to say that the favor of God, come on, is around you. Come on, it's upon you. You know that it's the favor of God, that has gotten you where you are today. Literally, the hand of God has been upon your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great thing to be able to witness, come on, and give testament to the power of God and His favor through you and upon your life. So let's move on and let's go further into fashion entrepreneurship now. Fashion entrepreneurship, because we talk about entrepreneurship, but fashion entrepreneurship, and we'll talk about this and then we'll move on to the next topic. So what is fashion entrepreneurship to you? What is it? Because someone could be watching, they don't know, well, what is fashion entrepreneurship? Or what is it like to become a fashion entrepreneurship? What does it entail of? If you can give us just a synopsis, what is fashion entrepreneurship to you?
Fashion entrepreneurship for me, it encompasses a lot. So in the fashion industry, there's so many different roles you can play. Like there's so many different things, and it's all under this big umbrella of fashion. So you have people that are specialized in merchandising, fashion design. You have people that literally only do pattern making. You have people that literally only do embroidery, fashion photography. So for me, fashion entrepreneurship is when you are at the head of your own business and you're creating what your world looks like within fashion.
Wow.
It's it it gives you your own umbrella and takes away the umbrella from other people and them having control over who you are, what you do, how you say it, when you say it, and allowing you to really lead your career into what you want it to be. So for example, I love sewing, but I also love doing backdrops and props and styling and stuff for fashion
Yeah.
shows. I love working in the costume industry. I love styling them. I love taking the pictures. I love altering the clothing. I love recreating clothing and making it into something else. I love bridal. I love making headpieces. I love making veils. I love making gowns. So all of this falls underneath fashion, but being an entrepreneur and having my own business
Mm.
allows creativity to focus on all of those things in a way that works for me and my personal aesthetic and my personal life.
Yes, yes, yes. And wow, that is wonderful. And we know that you are a wife and you are a mother. In the midst of being a fashion entrepreneur, you are tasked with being a great mother and being an awesome wife. And I want to say that if we could say, or if we could you say this is an example, a real world example of what a Proverbs 31 woman looks like, would you say that you are?
Whew, that's a heavy blessing. I will definitely say it's something that I aspire towards and I'm constantly working on and I'm trying to grow towards because ideally, like when I think of myself as a woman, as a mother, and as a wife, as a daughter, like I want to be that woman. I feel like in some ways she embodies me so much, and in other ways I still have a lot of growth to do.
Well, and it's okay, but we know that the Bible says in Proverbs 31, and it says that who can find a virtuous woman. Says for her price is far above rubies. Says the heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She would do him good and not evil all the days of his life. It says that she seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She ariseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She considereth the field and buyeth it with the fruit of her hands. She planteth the vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength and strengthened her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good, and her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yes, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girls unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain. But a woman that fear the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. And so that's what the word of God says. And you are a wife, you are a mother. And in the midst of being a wife and a mother, you are a fashion entrepreneur. Your hands are at work. Even though you are at home, stay-at-home wife, but have your business. I think that's great. I think it should be celebrated.
My thanks.
To God be the glory, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But thank you for your humility to say that you're aspiring to be. But I think you are probably starting one woman. An example of one, right? We yes, an example of one. You are a wife, mother. I'm sure you have a schedule. You prioritize, and you did share with me that you're very organized. And I would think that a woman of your magnitude, you would have to be organized, right?
Yeah.
I mean, fashion entrepreneurship, talk about that. It's a lot of prioritizing, organizing you.
Yeah,
But you get it done.
It's systems for everything, because if not, it just, so as a creative, you have all of this stuff floating around your head in one time. I know, at least for me. So if I don't have a system or different things to keep me on track, it's like squirrel. Like, oh, that's sparkling. How about let's start doing this? Like, times I would look up at my studio, and I've been practicing on this, and I have 4 different things that I'm out working on, because I'll start working on one thing while I'm working on it. This idea will come to me on this other project that I'm working on. So then I grab that and I go to that. So I literally, at times, I'm like, okay, where's my checklist? Let me write down. Okay, this idea came to my mind, so let me come back. Trying to keep things organized, and even with like managing other people, so it's 20 different tasks, and each person I have 2 tasks. So I need to be able to communicate with them exactly what is needed, how it's needed, when it's needed, and also show them an example of what that looks like. So without organization, everything just goes to chaos. Nobody understands anything, and the product doesn't come out on time. And even if it does, it may not be the right quality. And if it's not quality, then what was the purpose? So organization keeps me floating.
Wow. Organization. There has to be organization. Your time is prioritized so that you can accomplish these great tasks and do all these great things that you do. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Anything else that you would like to add on as we talk about fashion entrepreneurship before we move on to the next topic, that of beauty awareness?
I would say that just anyone who's interested in joining the fashion industry in any way, just do it. If it's really what you want to do it. Like, it can be done no matter who you are, no matter where you come from. Like, there is a way, especially now. I feel like it's so much easier now than it was when I started. So that'll be my big thing. Do what you want to do, enjoy it, have fun, trust God.
And let me talk about this because we talk, and you would be one who also operates within what is called ministry marketplace. You are a woman of God. You are a God-fearing woman, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so we talked about, or on some of my other broadcasts, we talked about ministry marketplace and what that looks like. It's having a business or operating within the entrepreneurship reigns, but also including Jesus Christ. Come on, within the business operation.
Yeah.
All right. So, we know that God gives us different gifts and we know that he gives us different talents, right? And so what I just want to add on before we move on to beauty or to talk about beauty awareness, God gives us different gifts. He gives us different talent. It's not everyone's calling within the universal church to preach, to teach the word of the Lord, or just to be behind a pulpit, or be an evangelist, or a bishop, or apostle, or prophet, an evangelist. But there are some of us who have been gifted in different areas to reach a people within different avenues. Now, can we say that with your clientele, it's not just designing for them and doing alterations for them, but somewhere in there, there's self-empowerment that you give. There's a light that comes on to empower women, right?
Oh,
You minister to them, right?
yes.
Am I right about this?
Much so. So honestly, that's one of my favorite parts about my job. There is nothing like helping a person and like they have on these clothes and they're like, I mean, it's okay. And you have to remember, everybody's human. Everybody second guesses themselves. Everyone wants their outfits and their appearance to like look amazing. So when I'm helping my clients, it's not just to make their clothes fit perfectly. That helps with the overall image, but
Yes.
it's talking them through it. It's explaining to them like, oh, you have a really beautiful neckline. So all of your shirts should hit like here because then it shows off your neckline, which is just very flattering. So it's encouraging and giving them the tools that they need to go forth and just also point out to them like their beauty. So many times people are so judgmental of themselves and the world is so judgmental that nobody takes the time to just encourage people, to just genuinely love on them and encourage them and to be like, you look gorgeous.
Mm.
And I love seeing my clients, like once I work with them, I'm like, okay, wow, let me see, give me some confidence. Okay. And like through it, like talking them through it, because I have worked with some of the most beautiful women in the world. So to see them question that beauty, I'm like, it's like that reminder that everyone goes through it, no matter what. But I want to be a person that brings light to people, and
Yes.
I want to be a person that uplifts them and helps them and not tears them down. So I really enjoy just the being aware of people's beauty insecurities and helping them in those areas and
Yes.
giving them self-empowerment to move forward and just own their appearance and who they are and just look fabulous doing it.
That's right. That's right. And today we're talking about fashion entrepreneurship. We're talking about beauty awareness, and we're talking about uh, self empowerment, right? Which are some good topics. And I pray and hope that those of you who are viewing and tuning in today, I pray that, look, you're being blessed as you're on with me and Mrs. Trekina Rajeanné Estell today. Hopefully you guys are being empowered and that you guys are being uplifted, especially to our women viewers. Now let's move right along. Let's move right along to our next topic, which is beauty awareness. Beauty awareness. Everyone have insecurities. Am I right about it?
Yes.
Everyone have insecurities. Whether woman, whether man, you have insecurities. But we must attack this. How do we do away with our insecurities?
From what I've seen, I will say that it is human nature. I feel at one time or another, it's going to come back. It's just about, always say problem solution.
Mm.
Um, if there's something about you that really bothers you, so for example, like you'll have modest women of the church who their thing is they their dresses need to be below their knees.
Okay.
That's great. But then they're like, oh, this doesn't look right on me. But sometimes it's really, you don't need a skirt that hits you right below the knee. You need a midi because of that's the way your body is shaped. So then it flatters you. So a lot of times it's things like that, finding the things that work with you and then fine. You don't want to show your legs. It needs to be below the knee. Great. But let's find your perfect angle, your perfect level below your knee so that then we can taper and tailor your things to this point so that you don't have to feel covered just to be modest, but you can be covered and be confident because you know that you still look amazing, you look fashionable, and everything's fine. There's a way to do everything. It's things like that that creates that empowerment and just that self-confidence of, oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing on that. So I wanted to start there as we talk about beauty awareness because I think that it begins there. Becoming aware of, the details of your skin, the details of your shape, your curves, and what it means. Again, so many people have insecurities, but when the insecurities are dealt with, when they are addressed, when they are confronted, then we can now talk about, beauty awareness. Hey, you do look great. You do look good. Be aware of this fact. So when did you, Trekina, when did you gain a sense of, I would say, beauty awareness concerning yourself? Growing up as a little girl, like what was it for you? Like, how did you get into this fashionista, this diva fashion? Talk about
It was always really hard, honestly. Growing up, most people didn't understand me. They didn't understand my style. So I was picked on and talked about constantly. And like as I got older, I think it was like I want to say it was like my junior year, maybe, when one of my teachers, Miss Redmond, like heavily came into my life. She really helped me build my confidence. She really helped me to own who I was and
yeah.
to, oh, it's okay. Like, okay, you like sparkly things, that's fine. Put on all the sparkles. Like, don't worry about what anybody has to say. Because you can, like, you can hear it from your parents, but they're your parents. So it's like, you're just saying it because you're my mom and you look okay. But she really helped build my confidence. And I think for me, like the way she made me feel, I wanted to give that to other people. And just like my mama Jonice, when I say I don't think that woman has ever understood my style, but when she always be like, and it's funny because she was like, all right now, Keena, that looks good. So when it hypes me up, so having people like that in my life in the beginning and I knew how they made me feel,
Yes.
it's like I want to give that to other people because it was hard for me. I always felt uncomfortable in my own skin, but for whatever reason, I thank God for that. I never stopped. It was just like, oh, okay, I'll feel uncomfortable, but then that was all of us have like our trauma creates different ways that we protect ourselves. And
Okay.
through therapy, I'm a big fan of therapy because, Lord, you need more than the Bible sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. We talked about that on another broadcast with
Yeah.
another guest. It's important. Yeah. Therapy.
So through that, just like realizing that one of my ways of coping and dealing has always been my imaginary bubble. In my head, there is this big bubble around me and no one can see me. And when I think about it out loud, it's hilarious because I am so sparkly and sequined and everything else. But in my head, no one sees me.
Mm.
That logic it helped me to be able to, it was more for me than anyone else because it kept me from focusing on other people and allowed me to just be me. But like in that with life, different seasons happen, different things happen. So it's been a reinvention like multiple times. Like I feel like I really gained myself at the end of college And like once I graduated and really got into my field, I had a really, really good sense of who I was. And then when I first came to Mississippi, like I was very strong in who I was. Like, this is my style, this is my aesthetic, like la 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 la, life is good. And then mom and daddy got sick, and losing them, I lost a piece of myself. So then on top of that, like mama passed away, and then daddy passed away, and then my now husband proposed to me. So I was feeling all these feelings on the inside. Also during this time, you know, depression is real. So eating my feelings, gaining weight, so not feeling comfortable in my skin anymore. Now it's like, okay, now there's this wedding coming. So all of these life things happening at one time. It's so then it took a while to kind of start getting back in that place again and working through those things and kind of find my security again and who I was. So one of the things that I've learned is a lot of times we think once we find it, that's it and we're good. And the reality is life is constantly going to change. You're constantly going to have highs and lows and things that are going to shake you, things that are going to make you grow, and you're going to have different seasons. And in every season, you have to find yourself again, and you have to grow and embrace that new version of yourself. And now I'm getting back to the point that I'm embracing myself again after having a baby. Like all of that was a lie. It was a rough pregnancy. So, you know, once again, you know, by then I lost the weight. Now you have a baby and you gain weight again. So then, okay, clothes don't fit. So then it's like, okay, well, I can't keep wearing maternity clothes. So then it's like, okay, well, you know what? Let's just go shopping. Like, let's enjoy, let's embrace color, different season, different times, but you have to just keep going and keep searching, doing that inner search to find like, who am I right now and what represents me right now? And how can I be the best version of who I want to be right now? And what does that look like?
I love it. I love it. Beautifully well put. I love it. Sums up that question. Thank you so much. Wonderful, wonderful. We're moving on. This is a great discussion, and it's going good. It's going well. Now, what is beauty awareness to you? When you think about beauty awareness, awareness to be aware of something, to be aware of beauty today. What is beauty awareness to you?
That's a loaded question being in the fashion industry. That's a very loaded question. Um, I would say beauty awareness to me is, you know how people say, okay, I know my angles.
Yes.
It's like that, but with everything about you and in your entire life. It's like you have to be aware of who you are and know your, and like once you know your angles, just go with it. Enjoy it. Have fun with it. Because there's always going to be somebody that will have something negative to say about you. But it's
Absolutely.
not until you really accept you for who you are that you can just push everything out and genuinely be self-aware. Because that's really the anchor of beauty awareness is self-awareness. And once you accept and embrace that self-awareness, then it's a lot harder to let people bother you, and it's a lot easier to just enjoy and embrace who you are.
I agree. I agree. Beauty awareness, and it's and so for me it's just knowing, having that, sense of revelation, with great strength, with great boldness and confidence that you are, who you are. What makes you you. You said the fact that you like sequin, right? The sparkling, right? Let me talk about my apostle's wife, Pastor Delpha. She loves sequin. She loves to shine and sparkle. She just dresses that way, and it's just her. She's not trying to be grand or anything. It's just the fact that she loves, that that's what she loves, right? And that's who she is. And so beauty awareness should be who you are. What do you love? How do you like to look? What do you like to wear? You know, your own sense of fashion, your own sense of who you are, and being confident. And I think that these types of questions here and this topic actually go hand in hand with our next one, which is self-empowerment, because self-empowerment, first, there has to be a foundation of who you are, right? Knowing who you are, what makes you you, your sense of beauty awareness, and then you can kind of walk over into, you know, self-empower, because that empowerment also would have to begin with you knowing who you are.
Yes.
Blessings, Dr. Karen Lomax from Oceanside, California. God bless you. Pray that the broadcast bless you as you're tuning in. And so, um, let's see, beauty awareness. And I think this is good for so many women. Um, you know, how can I put this? I would say this. I would say that over the span of my ministry, God has allowed me to minister to women. Um, and I would say that some of it deals with, you know, the defense I have for women being in ministry. God has always instilled in me a boldness and an authority and a confidence to support and actually back up women preachers. All right. I will say that boldly on the broadcast that God has used me in the area. I've always believed in women, and that God, you know, uses them and calls them, anoints and appoints them in at certain capacities. However, um, but so um, I've always ministered to women of who's dealt with insecurities and low self-esteem and not really knowing, you know, who they were or what they wanted. And I would say the gift has been placed in me from the Lord, just simply his word, you know, what his word says about his women, you know, what he has for them and what they deserve. All right. And what they should receive, right, from him, if
Yeah.
they will believe, you know, in him. Glory to God, hallelujah. But I've always ministered to women, and in that ministering to women, the goal was always to get them to see who Christ created them to be originally. Even looking back down to Eve, you know, you were created to be the helpmeet. You were created to be a queen. You were created to be a wife. All
Yeah.
right, created to be a mother. You were created to be a, you know, wonderful addition. Come on, to God's creation
Yeah.
that beholds glory, right? That beholds glory. And so, when talking about beauty awareness, you know, some women I've crossed, you know, it was always they didn't think that they had the look. I don't know, the signature look or whatever. And my thing would be, well, you know, hey, what is it that you love? What do you like?
Yeah.
You know, be yourself, be different, be unique, be creative. But what is it that you like? You could be beautiful this way. You can be beautiful that way. You can be beautiful in this thing. You can be beautiful in that. Can you help me with this? What, you know, building up women to know that they are beautiful, letting them know, you know, what Christ has for them.
Yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy. And most of the time, it starts with some type of comparison. And that is where a lot of the self-doubt and the insecurity stems from. Like you talked about Eve, even with Eve, comparison. Listening to the serpent and wanting to know what God knew, wanting to compare herself to God. And that's how they ended up in that situation. If she wasn't trying to know what God knew, if she wasn't comparing and she was just enjoying who she was, what her and Adam had in the garden, then life would be completely different. So I think sometimes we just no, most of the time we need to stop comparing ourselves to other people. And I have worked on so many fashion shows with these beautiful, gorgeous, slim, tall models. And as I'm dressing them and helping them, I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have lost another 5 pounds. And in my heart, I'm looking at like, was your feet gonna get smaller? Because and that they were, but literally, I'm like, you're a true model. There's nothing on you. At this point, I'm just trying to figure out if their fingers are gonna get shorter or their feet are gonna get smaller. But for them, it's a serious issue. So even though I'm thinking it in my head, to say it out loud would be so demeaning because it's important to them. So I think that is the beauty of when you're trying to help people with beauty awareness and self-empowerment is stopping and putting yourself in their shoes for the moment. Because I can easily be like, baby, I've never been that small before in my life and I never will. That doesn't help them. So are you trying to help you or are you trying to help them? So in that moment, what's helpful is just being like, you are gorgeous. You look absolutely perfect. And just loving on them, praising them. Because what they're doing is standing around looking at the other models and comparing themselves to the other models. And then the model that they're comparing themselves to, they're comparing themselves to them. So it's this cycle that is so toxic and so horrible that it can ruin a moment and it can also ruin self-esteem. So all of us just have to be conscious of just embracing who we are. And
Yes.
not comparing ourselves to anyone else or anything else. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't constantly try to improve the things that genuinely bother you as a person, but you're not doing it because you're trying to look like this person. You're doing it because you want to be the best version of you.
That's
That's real empowerment when you're making changes and you're constantly growing and you're constantly adjusting so that you can be better than who you were yesterday. I feel like you as a person should always only be your only competition. Because if you're looking outside of you, of what you need to be like tomorrow or the day after, then you're never going to be happy. You're just digging yourself in a hole that you cannot get yourself out of.
wow. Man, this is good today. Wow. So, beauty awareness, there we have it. We talked about beauty awareness. If there's anything else, before we move on to the next topic, self-empowerment, we know that you are pressed for time today. We have to respect your time. And so we want to just move very swiftly here, very quickly here. So is there anything else you would like to add as we end the discussion on the topic beauty awareness? What is that last thing that you want to speak to the viewers and to the broadcast about beauty awareness?
I know that it is a struggle that we all fight through every day, but every day just try to love yourself and be grateful for who you are and how you are as a person.
Wonderful, well put. I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, that brings us to our next topic of discussion, which is self-empowerment. And we're just going to talk about self-empowerment. This is a one that I'm very, very passionate about. I have a measure of anointing and guilt for self-empowerment. Again, knowing who you are, who I am, the my nature, my characteristic, where it derives from, what makes me, the boldness, the confidence, the authority. So let's talk about self-empowerment. We'll begin here. So, Mrs. Trekina, what is self-empowerment to you? And not only what is self-empowerment to you, but how is it intertwined with what you do every day within the fashion entrepreneurship arena? What is self-empowerment to you?
Self-empowerment for me, it starts with exactly what it starts with, self. It's a lot of self work. Like I told you before, I like plans, I like organization. So I feel like that in itself is very empowering. Like I believe in a list. So I think that it is empowering when you can write down your goals, what it is that you want, like in any aspect of life, and you work towards those things with a true self-awareness, and that self-awareness paired with the action plan and the work and doing the steps, that equals empowerment for me.
Self-empowerment, and empowerment, to be empowered, to establish a sense of secured boldness and confidence in whatever gift or whatever creativity or whatever I don't know, calling or whatever that God has placed on the inside of you or upon your life, and to walk in it daily, but with the revelation of who you are, because self-empowerment is what we have to secure if we're going to be successful in any endeavor. Am I right about it?
Yes.
In any endeavor that we pursue, any arena, uh, possessing a secured revelation behind who we are and what is in us, and then being bold and confident is what's going to kind of guide us within our success path, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, okay, so I'll give you an example. When I moved to Georgia, I started working for this men's suit store. And when I did the interview, I was completely transparent. I was like, well, I can sew, I can make clothing. Like, I've been in the bridal industry, so I can know all of those alterations. But I'm also very aware that every type of alteration is different. And I'm like, I mean, I've never really altered men's suits. I'm like, you show me and tell me what you want me to do, then I can do it. And the man like looked at my resume, said, "Oh yeah, great." Hired me, and like in the midst of the interview, he's like, "Yeah, you can ask the other tailors, and they can like tell you, what to do." I'm like, "Okay, great." The first day I showed up to work, I was there all alone because it was a storm, and I was new, so I forgot about. So he didn't tell me not to show up, and it's my first day of work. I'm not gonna not go. Have you
Right.
met other? Like that's you show up.
Yes. Come on now.
By myself, and it was shortening the sleeves, and the way, because this was luxury, so the way these jacket sleeves were made was completely different. I was like, let me tell you, when I said I didn't know what I was doing,
Wow.
and he was like, well, the guy has a funeral and he really needs it. It was literally just me and the manager there, and I'm like, okay, had no idea what I was doing. I used my logic. I said, okay, so I'm going to take apart one sleeve and I'm going to work from there. I did all right. I knew something was wrong. It was pulling. I was like, you see? He's like, yeah, okay. I tweaked it. So I was able to finesse it. It looked good. Don't ask me how I did it. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, like I'm not familiar with this. And once again, he's like, well, yeah. And this time he sounded shaky when he said it. He's like, yeah, when you come back, you can ask the other tailors. I'm like, okay. So I got this vibe because God and the discernment is real.
Come on now.
So then I get there, I'm really excited because I get to meet the other tailors and la la la. I mean, they do this. So I'm like, yeah. And of course, especially me coming from a background of literally teaching constantly. I'm that person that I will tell you anything that I know. I don't hold back. There's no secrets. Nobody can take anything from me that is meant for me. So I move in that arena. I walked up and I was talking. I was like, hi, introduced myself, all happy and bubbly. They looked at me and they was like, okay. I was like, so I got some questions. Like, oh no, we don't teach. Oh, well, he said no, we don't do that. So how am I supposed to know how to do this then? So then I go back to the manager because I'm like, well, you said that, they were showing. He's like, oh, yeah, they don't really like helping people. So I'm saying, but you told me when you hired me and you knew. So at this point, it looks like I'm this person that he's hired, that I've like finessed my way into a job. Like, how did I get this job? And I didn't even know how to do menswear. And I'm like, I was transparent. And when I said, I'm trying to help me. And okay, I'm like, okay, well, fine. I'll keep moving. I'll keep going. So I do the work. The one of the head tailors come back. This is horrible. This is not how we do it. La la. Okay. Well, can you show me how you do it? Oh, everybody does it their own way. But you just told me my way was wrong and it's not the way that you do it. So can you show me the way that you want me to do it? Well, no. I mean, you just have to figure it out on your own. When I say this circle went on for like 2 months and it shook me. Like I would go, I could not wait to go on my lunch break so that I could go to my car. Like it really messed with my self-esteem because here I'm going from an environment where I'm literally traveling around the world, teaching people these very specific techniques in bridal design, to now looking at something that on the outside looks so much more simple. But just because I didn't have the skills, and realizing for that first time, like no one was going to help me through it. It was such a hard reality, and it shook me for a minute. And I was like, God, why would you do this to me? Because I'll be honest, it didn't feel fair, because I'm that person that I will literally sit down, take the time, show you like I was a complete trainer. So to then be put in a situation where people just wouldn't help me, it really hurt and it really bothered me. And I have always been.
I remember there were times where you would call your mom, and I would just so happen to be around her and just being a wreck.
Yeah,
Okay, and mom would say,
know what to
"Tina,
do.
just breathe, just breathe."
Yep.
That's her thing. Hey, take a deep breath. Just breathe. Just breathe.
Call
Things
her
are all right.
because mind you, my break was only 30 minutes, so I still had to eat in that time. And I'm like, well, Mom,
Yeah.
I don't understand because I asked this and they said this and that. And she's just like, calm down. I'm like, I don't understand. She's like, it's fine. Just did the manager say anything? She's like, are you getting better? She's like, okay, what's your plan? I said, okay, so I'm just gonna keep track of everything that I do. So if something comes up, I'll know that nobody's blaming something on me that I didn't actually do. I'm gonna get it. So I literally went into my organizing, like creating systems and going into that. And also was like, okay, let me figure this out on my own because nobody's going to help me. Now, luckily, there was one tailor that she was willing to help me, but we had so much work to do. Time was so packed, and she was very much so like, I don't want to get in trouble. So it wasn't her heart, it was the situation for her, which I completely understood. So I had to figure it out. And for me, that ended up being very empowering to know that people can be against you, but they can't stop you from getting what it is that you need if you put your mind on it. You come up with a plan, you trust God, and you figure it out. And when I tell you, by the time I figured it out and I had it down packed, I was like, ha, okay. And that it made me feel so much better. But I also realized afterwards why God had to do that to me. Because even prior to that, it was this costume designer, things would come up, but it never would pan out with me like working with her. So then after I had mastered everything there, that's when the costume opportunity came up. And the first day that I was working, why was it all menswear? And I was the tailor. So just me working on the show by myself, and because that was for Naomi, and I could handle it.
So God had positioned you. He positioned you strategically there on that job, so that you can gain the experience for where He was taking you and positioning you in the future.
Yep, and it also
Which is why it's always good to follow God's plan. So we don't understand it.
Yeah, because hindsight, if that would have happened before me working that job, I don't know if I would have got hired again to work on any more TV shows because I didn't have all the skills that I need. And which, come to find out, that's one of the things that they run into in the film industry is people that can't do everything. They specialize in one part, but you never know what they're going to need. You never know what the scenes are going to look like. You never know what's going to be going on. So ultimately, that was something that in that moment was destroying my self-esteem. And it took me a minute to build back from it. But once I stepped outside of me and I started trusting in God again and working with the tools that I had. Because once again, those tools are what creates that power, because it gives you a system, it gives you an action plan. Things turned around for me so much better. And to this day, those same tailors that would not help me, when I say they love me, they love me. I mean, they are so sweet and so amazing to me, and they are actually great and amazing people. But if I would have treated them the way it seemed like they deserved to be treated in that moment, then I wouldn't have gotten a chance to understand that their reaction to me had nothing to do with me, but with the trauma that they had gone through in life. So sometimes we're so focused on other people, because in the moment I was focused on them. Mm-hmm. That's what took me so long to do my self-empowerment and get me together, because I was too busy trying to figure out why they wouldn't help me, why they were treating me like this, why they didn't. There was a whole lot of questions about them, when I should have started off being like, okay, so they're not going to help me. This is the job that I need to get done. I want to know how to do this. What steps do I need to take to get this done? If I would have done that, it would have sped the process up a lot faster. So I feel like a lot of times we give our power away to other people in worry, in our self-esteem issues, in comparison, when if we really just focus on ourselves and what we can do to make us better, what we can do to fix a situation, we'll really be okay. And it'll be a lot less painful. A lot less, phone calls in the car to mama crying and whining and complaining.
That's right. And I wanted to ask you, you said now you did the work on that first guy's work, the first client. Now you said that you did it the way that, I don't know, you did it. You did it.
I did it.
I actually loved it.
Oh, I mean, he didn't have any complaints. It didn't come back and was like, oh, okay, well, we need to redo this. I mean, he was fine.
And you had many more experiences like that, because so you actually did the work, and the clients, there were no problem.
No, but I mean, it's like, but see how you're on the outside of the situation, and it's like, well, you didn't really have people complaining outside of the tailors, right? And it's like, well, no, but in the midst of it, the only thing you can hear and you can see are the naysayers, are the people that's being negative, the people that are bringing you down or attacking you at that moment. You can't see the truth. And that is where self-empowerment comes in, because if we can embrace our self-empowerment, then the place that your mind just went to is so much for our minds to go there instead of going into all of the negative.
Wow. So I'm just going to say this here. It has been a wonderful time this great afternoon with you, talking about fashion entrepreneurship, talking about beauty awareness, and talking about self-empowerment. And we are nearing to an end here. We have about 5 minute mark here, and I just want to let you kind of let the viewers know here on the broadcast, those of you who are watching my Facebook, those of you watching my YouTube, let us take this time now, Mrs. Trekina Rajeanné Estell, to share with the viewers how that they can connect with you. How can they connect with you? If they want to work with you, how can they connect with you?
Okay, if you want to connect with me, you can always message me on, send me a message on Facebook. But I would say the best way, Instagram. My Instagram page is silp.so.shop.atl. Send me a message. You can also email me at t.estell, Estell, 1921 @gmail.com. I will say this upcoming year, I will be traveling, doing some Sip, Sew, and Shop events. So if you go on my Facebook page, you will see some of that. So it is basically a luxury event where the only thing you have to do is show up. I provide all of the sewing machines, all of the materials. We will make a project. You don't have to have any sewing experience. It is so much fun, and I am going to do more traveling with it this year. So, because I've done some private events for people doing them, and I want to do more of that. So, contact me if you and any of your friends want to host or sponsor an event. We'll show up, we'll do it. It'll be a lot of fun. Also, within the next few months, I'm currently working on an accessories collection.
All
So
right.
that will be coming out in the next few months. So just follow me,
Yeah.
keep up what's going on. This year is it's going to be fun. It's going to be different, and I definitely will have more things to offer outside of the in-person things that a lot of like my hands-on things are, like doing alterations for people in Georgia and things like that.
And do you have signature pieces that you have already designed or that you can custom design for people? You the hit wraps?
Yes. So I know you were talking about my wedding. I had started doing small headpieces before then, but even for my wedding, I created my own headpiece, veil and like crystal bling head wraps. So yes, so I do custom. So feel free to reach out to me. So I do create custom garments, custom accessories. I will be honest, I am limiting the custom garments this year just because reach out because I'm really doing a lot of different fun, creative type things this year. This is the year of fun for me creatively. So I look forward to I've had a few clients reach out that I'm doing things for that are just so fun, so exciting. So yeah, definitely.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And thank you so much for sharing that. Um, let's see, we have talked about fashion entrepreneurship, we talked about beauty awareness, we talked about self-empowerment. You've just given us the information on how we can connect with you, and you've also told us some great things about what's coming up. And so those TV shows that you actually worked on, could you name them again? Just name them again. You've been on some shows, you've done actually the costume
Mm-hmm.
design.
So Naomi, it was a CW television show. Yellowstone. It is based out of Montana. And then Gotham Knights. It's another CW television show. It's about like the kids of like Batman, Joker type situation.
Wow. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, look, it's been great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much again for coming on to the broadcast today, spending this afternoon with us on this great Saturday.
Thanks
We're
for
going to end the broadcast. We're going to log off, but it's been so good, and I just want to give you the chance to say any final remarks, anything else that you would like to speak to the viewers before we log off. You could do it at this time, and then we're going to get on off here, and we're going to enjoy the remainder of our Saturday.
yes. Well, once again, you guys can reach me at Instagram at silk.so.shop.atl or through email t.estell, Estell, 1921 at Gmail. So feel free to reach out whether it's you want some custom pieces, because like on my Instagram, if you look, you'll see my link tree that'll give some options. Whether you're interested in the fashion industry and you have questions, feel free to reach out. I
Yeah.
will help anyone that I can to join this industry to be as successful as you can in it. So just reach out for whatever inquiries you may have.
Wonderfully well put. Wonderfully well put. Well, look, again, y'all, it has been great today. Thank all of you all that have tuned in. I pray that, look, this broadcast has been a blessing to you. You've gained some insight, you've gained some revelation, but most of all, that you've enjoyed the dialogue that was given today. It's been a beautiful broadcast, and thank you so much again, Mrs. Trekina, for just coming on. I kind of enjoy and honor just to have you. And May God continue to bless your business, and may God continue to favor you as He's done throughout the decades. And just may God just take you up into greater elevation on your within your entrepreneurship, within your arena of business operation, and also may God add a blessing to your family. All right, in Jesus' name. Well, we're gonna log off now, guys. Again, it has been really been great, y'all. Share the broadcast. Come on, it will bless someone. Maybe someone couldn't come on or couldn't make it. Just share the broadcast, y'all. Invite some other people to come back and rewatch the broadcast. It's going to be here. They can also access YouTube, Apostle Demonparis and Mrs Ministries. They can also find the broadcast for today there. And so just share. It's going to bless someone. This is why we do this, to share knowledge and to share wisdom and to empower all. And so again, thank you guys for tuning in today on the Apostle Chat Corner. All right, you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And again, it's been a blessing having each and every one of you guys. Until the next time, stay tuned. There's a guest that I have coming in March. Not going to release who he is just yet, but stay tuned. God is doing some great things as we're maneuvering with Apostles Chat Corner. And so just continue to follow me on all my social media platforms, Demonparis J. Williams, and stay connected, because there's a lot of more guests that will be appearing on the Apostles Chat Corner. I'm excited about the one in March. There's someone coming in April, and then my wife will be coming on in May. Queen, all right, of the Williams Castle. So she will be coming on in May, and there's 2 other guests coming on before her in April and March. So y'all just continue to tune in with me. We have great times when we are gathered here on the Apostle Chat Corner on these great Saturday afternoons. So much knowledge, so much wisdom is given. Again, we're empowering all. Y'all have a great remainder of your Saturday. Remember to share the broadcast. Blessings to you all until the next time. Bye-bye.